Welcome back to Spoilers, everybody. Okay, normally at this point of the show, before we bring out the guests, I list all their credentials and I fluff them up in a big bad way and whatnot. But this cat I respect too much to do this, man. The best way to bring him out here, to introduce him to y'all, is just be flat out honest and say, this is my favorite actor on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Lee.
Good evening.
It's a little ostentatious, but you deserve it, man.
Oh, wow, thank you.
You are a king, but I'm a kingmaker. I discovered this guy, man. Kinda, I didn't. Really, the credit goes to Don Phillips.
That's right.
An amazing casting director who cast Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Dazed and Confused, and then he also cast Mallrats. And Jason was somebody he brought in, and before you were an actor, when we were sitting there talking about the pages before he auditioned, I said, so what have you been doing prior to this? And he goes, I just retired. And I said, what, retired? And he's like 21 or something like that. I was like, what'd you retire from? He's like, professional skateboarding. And I was like, oh, you used to skateboard. And he was like, I retired from professional skateboarding. You were ollieing things. Tell him about your skateboarding life.
Yeah, it was something I did my whole life, and then I turned pro in the late 80s, and then somehow wanted to become an actor.
How do you go from that? How do you go from the deck? Are you like ollieing a staircase and then you're like, I want to emote? Like, how do you go from the deck to the stage?
Coen Brothers.
Is that what it was? Which one?
Yeah, I had Bart and Fink.
Really?
I really loved Buscemi as Chet the bellboy, and I thought he was weird enough, and just that world that the Coen Brothers were so odd and just right up my alley, and I said, I want to try that.
When you came in and read, this is what put you above everybody else. There's a line that's not even in the movie anymore. It's in the cut sequences, like all the cut footage on the DVD if you see it. But at one point, Brody has to say the term black mass. And he's talking about like, oh, I saw my neighbors had a black mass. And that's how you say black mass. Jason Lee, when he read it, he would be like, black mass. And he held out his A's, and every time, you know, everyone comes through on auditions and you're reading along with them. Sometimes you're looking at them and stuff. Sometimes you're looking down to read the next line. And all of a sudden I hear him going, black mass, and I snapped up because I was like, that's different.
I was terrible. Kevin.
No, it's not that it was, it's not that it was terrible. It was different. Like, we developed a way to communicate with one another in directing that was, some people will be like, it's ridiculous, it's ludicrous, but it really worked for us. If you watch Mallrats, there's points where Jason does kind of lyrical dialogue. One is like, it's not a mall, it's the mall, show some respect.
Oh, small price to pay for the smiting of one's enemies.
Yes. Yes. Now,
That became the Brody.
That became the Brody. And in order to get there, I was trying to explain like how you were climbing and then descending, because he did it in real life, and I picked it up one day. I was like, do that thing you do. And he's like, what thing? And I was like, this thing, do like this, where I was like, smiting of one's enemies. And he's like, what is that? And I was like, this is how you should talk. It was magical. Like on Chasing Amy, you won an Independent Spirit Award for your performance. When you're holding the award, that doesn't make you feel like more of an actor?
It did, but it's definitely a career, but I wasn't a trained actor, and I don't think I ever really lived and breathed it. I just wanted to have fun, you know what I mean?
Is that what made you make the jump? Like, you basically saw Buscemi, you're like, that looks like fun.
Just fun. I think having that approach helped because I didn't take it too seriously.
And you weren't like, if this doesn't work, I'll kill myself. You're like, if this doesn't work, I'll go back to skateboarding.
Yeah, even though I had retired, but yeah, I could have.
Let me ask you this, man. It seems every couple of years, I turn on a channel and I see Chipmunks, and then I see you being like, Alvin! It's a perennial now. You've been in a lot of these Chipmunks pictures. Yeah. What's the story?
Well, kids. I have kids.
How many kids you got?
I have 3 kids. I just had a boy 6 days ago. Yeah, I just had a.
We're all applauding. We're like, way to be fertile, man. Way to get the job done.
Yeah.
You did literally, how sweet. You came here, you just had a kid 6 days ago.
Yeah.
You could have totally been like, I just had a baby. Click.
I live right down the street, though.
Fair enough. What is it like, man, fatherhood? Is that the kind of, that leans you towards kid pictures? Because you're like, hey, man, I got a kid. They want to see me in a kid movie.
Yeah, and I kind of grew up on that, and it's kind of iconic, and I thought my kids would probably really like it, and they do. My oldest is 8, and I have a 4-year-old daughter and now a 6-day-old son, and they think it's awesome that I do that stuff.
And you were never like an acting snob
And also, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I kind of like the idea of being a working actor, and I think it's nice to just kind of work instead of like hitting so big that it's kind of hard to maintain that.
Right.
And unless you keep up that momentum as like the sort of new guy on the scene, there's kind of only one way to go. Even if only a little bit, people lose sort of interest or you die out, the buzz and all of that stuff. I just like the idea of working, and I like being able to say that I've worked for Pixar and I've done kids movies and I've done TV, I've done drama, I've done a bunch of Kevin Smith movies that have been just amazing. I just kind of like to work, and I don't take it too seriously.
What was it like working with, what was his name, Brad Bird?
Unbelievable.
He's,
and I
he's
got
the guy
him-
that directed the Incredibles. He's also directed the last
Ratatouille.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Ratatouille is an amazing movie.
and I got The Incredibles because of Dogma.
Oh, tell them that. That's a good story.
Apparently, you know, they have the characters in mind and they draw and everything, and they listen to voices, and they listen to a lot of Dogma.
And it was the
And they
Aswell,
said,
the da-da-da,
yeah,
da-da-da.
he's got.
And it's always a pleasure to see you. Always an honor to work
love
with
you,
you.
Kevin.
I love you to death. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Lee. We'll be right back with more spoilers, man. Stick around.